The Oilers need more from Skinner in these big games. Stuart, that is, not Jeff. Maybe both. Yeah, maybe both, but mostly Stuart Skinner. I looked through the numbers, and these are all from Natural Stat Trick, so do with that what you will. But Skinner, out of the 10 goalies in the NHL from the top 10 teams in the league, Skinner is 10th across the board in save percentage, goals against, expected goals against, and goals saved above average. So you can kind of see that.
So, sorry.
It's not ideal. So goals saved above average is basically, can you explain that one a bit better than I can? I get it.
Does he stop the shots he's supposed to?
Yeah, there you go. Evidently, not as often as the other quality players in there. So the one thing.
So these are the starters on the top 10 teams in the NHL.
Yeah. So the one thing that's slightly adjusted it. Mackenzie Blackwood. I didn't count his numbers when he played on San Jose, so those are strictly from when he was on Colorado. Okay. And these are all strengths, not just 5-on-5 numbers too. So the Oilers need more from Skinner in these games. He's obviously had some good ones. The Vegas two are pretty good. Obviously the Oilers lost one of the games 1-0, but he was fairly decent in them. The other good game he had was where is it now? Carolina earlier in the season. He was pretty solid, but his numbers are slightly let down from that Winnipeg game still earlier in the season, but he's just not been able to recover as well as you would want. Pat, do we have the month-to-month numbers as well? I think those ones are pretty solid to look at, but there you go, month-to-month numbers. So clearly October is where the Winnipeg game was, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And he's just not been able to get above that zero mark on
goal
saved above average.
This is like a rolling total, or is it just his numbers in those months?
Just numbers in those months, strictly from those months, in games. So he's on average, it's typically around
in games
2.
against top 10 teams?
Yeah, so in October it was 3 teams, November it was 4, December it was 3, January it was 2, and then I didn't count the Toronto one in there because it was 1 game. Yeah. So I believe in Stuart Skinner. I was talking to Zach Lang about this a bit yesterday too, and on Evolving Hockey, which is a bit more of a better metric to go off of some of these stats. Like last year in the playoffs, after that Vancouver series, they're probably better than what like the public numbers will give you. I think Skinner is fine. I think he's a goalie you can win a Stanley Cup with. He just needs to find that consistency at the right time. The other part of this is like what we said yesterday. There isn't really an option. Yesterday I Googled Karel Vejmelka trade rumors. The most recent article was from June. He's just not available. Like just doesn't seem to be a market for goalies right now.
And also the idea that Karel Vejmelka is going to come in and be some like super consistent good backup, like that's also not true. He's been under 900 in 4 of his last 5 appearances, right? Again, you can go through and find long stretches where he's 920 or better for a few games, and then he goes down to being 840 for a few games, 818, like he had a bad year last year. Like the idea that going and trading a 3rd-round pick for Vejmelka at 50% retained is fixing all your issues isn't true. I don't think you want to screw yourself cap-wise by going out and giving up what Anaheim wants for John Gibson. I think it is a genuinely stupid idea to acquire a guy who has 2 more years at $6.4 million. And everyone goes, well, surely they'll just retain half. What do you think they want to keep half of that salary for the next 2 seasons? It's a lot. I am not 100% against going to get a goal.
Pick.
You think they will trade?
Market set. Thank you, Chicago.
Oh,
but then you're giving up a 3rd to get him retained, and then Anaheim's going to want a 1st for Gibson or a 2nd for Gibson. Like again, I am not totally against the idea of going and getting a backup goalie. I have just yet to been presented with a case that makes sense.
Like we saw Frank Slush yesterday, and the only goalie on there was Dan Vladar. Like
he stinks.
You don't. It'd have to be something that's off the wall.
And
the reality is it's tough to pull off a goalie trade in season because it could just shake up things for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the goaltending good enough?
I think it's good enough.
Debate.
Totally. Agreed.
It is totally up for debate. We saw that playoff run and it was magic, but like we also played so well in front of him.
And the Oilers have continued to play well in front of Stu this season. Defensive metrics, they are a very, very good defensive team.
Yeah, and so Stu's not carrying his end of the bargain then in that case. So that record against top 10 teams is very damning. It is very damning, and it's in everyone like it's okay to be concerned about it. Like it's a legitimate reason to be concerned, but to blow up your goaltending right now, as much as I've talked about Veggie, bringing him in, You got to just focus on what's in front of them right now.
I agree.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.